Alright guys, getting right on into it. Day 1, push A, shoulders, chest, and triceps with an emphasis on shoulders. So, as you'll end up seeing with all my workouts, I always start off with the warm-up. Now, what does that mean? I just like to do some dynamic stretching. Normally, if I'm starting with the compound movement, I'll be using that movement as my warm-up. But then I also do a lot of like foam rolling and other kind of stuff in the beginning of my exercise or beginning of my workout as well. Normally it'll be like 10 to 15 minutes, really just prepping the muscle to get ready to work. As you can see here, first exercise we're going to be doing is seated behind the neck overhead press. Now, before all of you start screaming, shoulder impingement, if it hurts, don't fucking do it. But seriously, if you feel like you can't do this movement, just stick to a standard over the head press. The reason I like to do behind the neck is it just changes the angle that I'm hitting the muscle. Now for me, I am flexible enough and I have enough range of motion that it does not hurt my shoulders and it does not hurt my rotator cuffs. But if it does for you, just stick to a standard seated over the head barbell press. Now moving into the first couple sets, really focus on controlling the weight. Again, when you're doing your warm-ups, just focusing on pyramiding up in weight until we get into our working sets and just kind of moving the weight, filling the muscles with blood, feeling the movement, stretch at the bottom, squeeze at the top. Now, again, our working sets on this is going to be 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Now, with all of these movements we're going to be doing today, you want to be able to get at least that minimum rep number. Big key to all of these movements is to leave your ego at the fucking door when you step into the gym. And I'm sorry for the language, I don't normally curse and swear and everything and blah blah blah, but it's true. Pick up those 5-pound dumbbells, pick up that 10-pound plate, and use that. Don't be trying to throw weight around. We really want to focus on isolating the muscles and focus on contracting whatever muscle group we're actually trying to target. So, anyway, right there you can see, started getting a little too heavy, knocked myself on the head. Oh well. Live and learn. Moving on to the next exercise. With this, we're going to be doing upright barbell rows, and we're going to be keeping our grip right around shoulder width apart and really pulling from our elbows, trying not to use biceps, not to use your forearms as much, really focusing on the lateral head and the rear head of the delt. So it might be a little hard to see here, but slight angle forward, keep your lower back straight, and that allows us just to kind of squeeze our shoulder blades and our rear delts together at the top. So, up, squeeze, down, squeeze. You can see there at the bottom of the rep, I'm letting it stretch my shoulders, stretch my rear delts. We're not swinging the weight up, just nice controlled movements. With this, we really want to focus on forcing blood into that muscle, targeting those lateral delts and the rear delts. As you can see, once I started fatiguing a little bit of momentum, but I'm still controlling the weight. I'm not just throwing it around. So with this, we're doing 4 sets, 12 to 15 reps. Again, if the weight gets a little too heavy, decrease it. We're not here to show off. Another big thing with all of these workouts is to stay hydrated. Don't forget, if you're in the gym early like I am, because I always work out around 5 a.m., normally you want to keep like a BCAA powder or amino powder going throughout your entire workout. That just really helps keep your energy levels high, keeps the pump going, and keeps your muscles working and strong. So next is going to be a burnout set. So we're going to be doing lateral raises, dumbbell up and outs, and I'll show you what they are in just a second here. Behind the neck or behind the back raises, and then around the world front raises, and then we're going to be finishing with seated reverse flies. So 5 exercises, 100 rep set. As you can see, I'm only using like 5, 10, 15 pound dumbbells. But with these, really focusing on the pump. So fill the blood with muscles, hit it from every angle possible. Really want to just work that muscle. So working the front delt, working the lateral head, working the rear delt. And these are the up and outs that I was telling you about. So as you can see, palms in front of my body, bringing the dumbbells up as if I'm doing a front raise, and then I'm coming in as if I'm doing like a chest press. Then back out, try and keep them straight all the way until your arms are fully extended, and then back down. We're doing 20 reps on each of these exercises, just one right after the next. Bam, 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 working those shoulders, working those delts. Now here we go into the behind the back raises. With this, again, focusing more on a shrugging movement and really squeezing those rear delts. So it's not necessarily a fly and it's not necessarily a shrug, it's kind of a cross between the two. As you can see, kind of leaning back just a little bit so that I can clear my fat ass. And then just bringing the dumbbells out to my side, squeezing my rear delt, squeezing my traps together, and really again just forcing blood into the muscle. We're trying to hit those shoulders from every angle possible. Next, as you can see, starting to get pretty fatigued. I dropped the weight down to 5 pounds. But next we're going to be doing around the world. So starting with our hands at our side, bringing them out and around into the front, and we're touching the bottom of the dumbbells together, forming a V in front of our face. Arms fully extended and locked out as much as possible. This one will really burn. So here's a little better view. Arms are going out, touching a V at the top, squeezing together, and then back down. And trust me, you don't want to be doing super heavy on this, because by the time you get to this 4th exercise, you're going to be dying. But it's all good. So, moving into the final exercise of this giant set, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be doing seated reverse flies. Now, with this, big key, again using lighter dumbbells, I'm only using like 10 pounds here. Big key though, keep your back as straight as possible, chest up, and really focus on pulling from your pinkies so that you can really activate those rear delts. You don't have to fly out as far as a lot of people tend to. Really just focus on pulling from your rear delts. Forcing blood into those muscles. Squeeze, stretch at the bottom. So it's a little hard to tell, but you can kind of see here at the bottom of the movement, I'm almost forcing my arms down just to really get that extra stretch. And with that, we're going to be doing 3 sets. So 3 intervals of each, or 3 sets of each exercise total, with like a 60-second rest between sets. 20 reps on each one, 100 rep set. So this is something that I like to do kind of in between sets when I'm resting. It's just kind of flex the muscle, and it's not just to show off or anything. It's not because I want to be vain or look at myself in the mirror. I mean, yes, I do. But it's also just to kind of see where my weak points are and continue forcing blood into the muscle. I mean, that's something that's really nice, is you just kind of keep forcing blood into the muscle. Don't lose your pump and just keep going. So next exercise is going to be cable face pulls. Now, when I started, all of the cable machines were being used, so I just went on to the lat pull down machine, grabbed a cable, and leaning back quite a ways, keeping my back straight, just face pulled from there. With this one, we're really going to be targeting those rear delts and really squeezing at the top. And you can also see here that I'm really kind of pushing my shoulders and arms forward at the bottom to really stretch it out. It's going to start to burn. But again, we're just trying to hit those shoulders from every angle possible. Really get that pump going. Stretch and squeeze, stretch and squeeze. So here's a little better angle. You can kind of see, keeping my elbows pretty much in line with each other, nice and parallel all the way across. Hands are coming pretty much right alongside my head, and I'm just squeezing my shoulder blades together, squeezing those rear delts. Then at the top, I'm driving them forward and really stretching them out. That just really helps to stretch the muscle and really force blood into it at the bottom. With this, we're going to be doing 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps. Alright, so next, moving into flat or incline dumbbell bench press. For me, I prefer incline just because I'm trying to work my upper chest, but if you prefer flat, go ahead and do flat. It's whatever you want. With this, really focusing on that tempo, so controlling the weight down, driving and squeezing at the top. Going to be doing 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. And again, if you're doing an incline, a lot of people tend to go like 45, maybe a little bit higher of an angle. I tend to keep it just a little bit lower, just because I feel I can isolate my chest more versus working that front delt, and especially after all those shoulder exercises, my delts are pretty fried. So I prefer just to stick to working my chest as much as possible. Now, this is something that I like to do kind of between sets, again, just to kind of stretch the muscle out and really force blood into it as well. This is an exercise that you can do if you wanted to on its own. Just hold like a plate in each hand, 5-pound plate. It's called an around the world, and this one is a pretty killer exercise if you do it on its own. As like a finisher move, really forces blood into that chest, and you squeeze, and oh, it burns. Burns so good. But anyway, so moving on to our next superset, we're going to be doing dips, focusing on our chest, and then we're going to be supersetting that with a seated overhand cable fly. And we'll get into that in just a second. But with the dips, really focusing on trying to stay as upright as possible, keep my elbows in tight to my body, and focusing on the contraction of the chest. Now, something that a lot of people tend to do on dips is, one, they go too far down and they end up putting a little too much stress on their shoulder. So if it hurts, don't do it. Don't go that far down. And if you want to, you can add weight. I really don't. The goal of that is 3 sets for 12 to 15 reps, or as many as possible. So if you only hit 10, that's fine. But the goal is to get 15 reps on each set. Now, with the next exercise, our seated overhand cable flies. With this, I use just a bench to help support my back, isolate my chest, and then I find keeping my hands in a flat, palms facing down position like this, I'm able to isolate my chest just a little bit better than if I were to do just a standard kind of palms facing each other movement. But with this, you'll see I keep my elbows bent just a little bit, really focusing on that squeeze at the top and that stretch at the bottom. As you saw from the side, trying not to let my elbows go past my body too much so that I'm not putting stress on my rotator cuffs and my shoulders, but really emphasizing and focusing on that chest. So next, we're going to be finishing with a tricep. Say that 5 times fast. But what we're going to be doing is a 60 rep set of cable extensions into cable press downs into a reverse grip cable press down. So starting here, you can see I'm using just the standard rope on cable machine, press down, keeping my elbow locked in place as much as possible. And you'll notice that I'm really squeezing and pausing at the bottom. Big thing with this movement is just to focus on that contraction. Really force blood into that muscle at the bottom. Then next, we're going to be moving into a cable press down, and with this, instead of using like the V bar that a lot of people use, I always go for the flat bar, just because I find that I can feel the muscle better. And then same thing, 20 reps. Squeeze at the bottom, stretch, full range of motion at the top. Right about now, once you start getting to that 15 to 20th rep on this second exercise, it starts to burn, but you're not finished. You're only about halfway through. So moving into the final one, just turn your grip over, grab it underhand, and keep going. 20 more reps. So total of 60 reps. First exercise, cable extensions, you're doing 20 reps. Right into cable press downs for 20 reps, and then followed by this cable reverse cable press down for another 20 reps. So 60 rep set, 3 sets total, roughly 30-second rest between sets. I'm just working those triceps, forcing blood into them, really getting them full, and burning out that muscle. Alright, and then to finish off my workout, I normally like to grab a band, and then what I'll do is I'll just kind of pump some extra blood into my shoulders, especially since it's shoulder day, and what I really want to focus on is getting that shoulder width, boulder shoulders, get some coconut shoulders. But I'll just grab a band and then do some various exercises like this, where raising it out in front, then take my hands out to the side, keeping them straight and as stiff as possible, and then just back and forth, really just forcing blood into that muscle. And then after that, just kind of do some rotator cuff movements. This kind of just helps me warm down the muscle, or cool down the muscle if you want, and just kind of again forces blood into it, works it from a little different angle, and just kind of finishes it off. And after that, kind of around the world movement, but this time it's more focusing on the shoulders, and again just kind of helps with mobility, really helps force some extra blood into the muscles and just burns them out. So normally I'll do that, and then go into like this, just some lateral raises, just kind of whatever I feel like. The whole point of it is just to, again, force blood into that muscle, get that pump, and really fatigue it as much as possible. Little flex there for the finish, and then that's the workout. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, but you can look forward to another video in a couple days, and with the next one we are going to be focusing on our pull day. So pull day 1, and it's going to be back, biceps, and traps, with some core thrown in there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout. Let me know in the comments how you thought, what you thought, and then I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.